You get that invitation, maybe it's a fancy card, maybe just a text, and boom, for some people it's pure excitement. But maybe for you it's that familiar knot in your stomach.
Oh yeah, that immediate, ugh, do I have to go? Or just feeling totally drained even thinking about it.
Exactly. That internal debate starts right up. Can I handle it? Is it worth the stress?
If that sounds familiar, well, you're definitely not alone. That's precisely what we're diving into today.
Right. This whole deep dive is about understanding that stress, that anxiety around social events, and crucially, finding ways to manage it so you can actually feel, more comfortable and present if you do decide to go.
And we're digging into some really great material that you provided different perspectives from health, psychology, well-being, a really good mix.
Our mission really is to pull out the most practical, useful strategies from all that, specifically to help you navigate these situations.
Okay, so let's unpack it. First off, understanding what's actually happening when that anxiety kicks in. The sources all pretty much agree. Anxiety itself, it's normal. It's actually fundamental.
Right. It's like our built-in alarm system designed to get us ready for actual danger, fight or flight stuff.
Exactly. A survival mechanism. Super useful when there's, a tiger chasing you. The problem is when that alarm system gets triggered, full-on danger signals, but there's no actual physical threat, like at a party.
And that's often where social anxiety comes in. The sources define it as this, significant fear of social situations.
Yeah, driven by this worry about doing something embarrassing or, being judged negatively.
And it's different from just feeling a bit nervous, like before a speech or something. That's pretty common.
Right. Social anxiety becomes a problem, according to these sources, when it's really distressing and actually starts interfering with your life, your relationships, your activities.
So what kind of dangers are we talking about in these social settings? What are the common fears?
Well, the sources list things like, nobody's going to like me, or I'm definitely going to say something stupid. Another big one is, people will see how anxious I am. Those thoughts become the threat.
And the body reacts, whether the threat is real or just perceived. You get those physical symptoms, right?
Totally. Things like your heart racing, maybe feeling dizzy, dry mouth, sweating, even blushing. It's all that fight or flight response kicking in.
Understanding that link, that mechanism, feels like the first big step.
Absolutely. Once you kind of grasp why your body and mind might react that way, then you can start looking at strategies. And the sources suggest starting before you even get there.
And one really key point that came up was, you don't always have to go.
Yes. That permission is so important. It's absolutely okay to decline, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed or haven't really built up your coping skills yet. Don't push yourself too hard.
That's huge. Permission to say no.
But, okay, let's say you do decide to go. What about preparation?
Mental prep is big. Not forcing yourself to be happy, but creating some calm beforehand. Maybe planning some downtime.
Like a relaxing bath or getting into a hobby. Something just for you before the event. Exactly. And practical prep helps too, like choosing comfortable clothes way ahead of time. It's one less thing to stress about.
Yeah, small things can make a difference. What about, if you need to bring something?
Good point. If it's that kind of event, figuring out the wine or dessert or whatever early on just takes another stressor off the table. Simple logistics.
And arrival time, I saw that mentioned. Arriving early might actually be better.
Yeah, potentially. Arriving on time or a bit early lets you ease in. You meet people gradually, maybe chat with the host first. It's often less intense than walking into a full, noisy room.
That makes sense. Kind of controlling the entry. What about mentally planning interactions? Not like a script, but...
More like having a couple of simple conversation starters in your back pocket. Things about the event, the setting, maybe even quickly picturing how you might handle a slightly awkward moment, just to feel a bit more ready.
And bringing a friend. That seems like a no-brainer if it's possible.
Definitely. Having a trusted ally there, someone you can check in with, even just glance at, it can really reduce that feeling of being totally alone.
Okay, so you've prepped, you decided to go, you've arrived, you're in the room, now what? This is where managing the anxiety in the moment comes in.
Right. Let's talk about interactions. If you don't know many people, the advice is to keep it simple. Look for friendly faces, maybe someone else standing alone.
And just start with something general, like about the music or the play.
Exactly. Low pressure. And body language matters too. Simple things like try not to cross your arms, maybe offering a small smile, even if you're nervous, it can actually make you feel a bit better too.
And in conversation, stick to safe topics at first.
Yeah, mainstream stuff usually works. Movies, music, current events, nothing too controversial initially. Find common ground.
And asking open-ended questions, that was a good tip, not just yes, no.
Crucial. What brings you here? Instead of, are you having fun? It invites more than a one-word answer. And then really listen, like actively try to remember something they said.
There were also tips, maybe aimed at introverts, but good for anyone feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, like it's okay to stick to smaller groups. Or even step away for a bit. You don't have to be on constantly or engage in endless small talk if it's draining you.
Okay, but what about when that physical or mental distress really flares up while you're there? What can you do in that moment?
That's where the toolkit comes in. Relaxation techniques are a good first stop. Calm breathing is a big one.
Just slow, deep breaths.
Yep. Slow, steady, through the nose, ideally.
Yeah.
The aim isn't to eliminate anxiety completely, remember, some is normal, but just to dial down the intensity of those physical feelings, make them less overwhelming.
And muscle relaxation, tensing and releasing.
Exactly. It helps lower that overall physical tension, makes your body feel less like it's braced for impact.
Then there's grounding. That seemed like a really core strategy in the sources.
It really is. Grounding techniques are all about pulling your focus out of those anxious thoughts and back into the present moment, into reality, interrupting that spiral.
And there are different types: physical, mental.
Yeah, physical grounding uses your senses, like really feeling your feet on the ground, noticing the temperature of your drink, the texture of the chair fabric, anchoring yourself physically.
Like that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Name things you can see, hear, touch.
That's a classic physical one. 5 things you hear, 4 you see, 3 you can touch, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. It forces your brain to focus outward on your immediate sensory experience.
Okay, and mental grounding, how does that work?
It uses your mind in a focused way to distract from the anxiety. Not just random thoughts, but structured tasks, like counting backward from 100 by sevens, or naming all the animals you can think of starting with B.
Or describing a simple task step by step, like making coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or using an anchoring statement. My name is full name. I am here at location. It is date. Just factual reality checks.
And the third type was soothing grounding.
Yeah, this brings in self-compassion. Picturing a loved one or a safe place. Saying kind things to yourself like, this feeling is uncomfortable, but I can handle it. Even just listing a few things you're grateful for right in that moment can be surprisingly calming. Or focusing on a comforting texture if you have something like a soft scarf.
Wow, lots of options there. The key is finding what works for you, right? And practicing them.
Precisely. They're tools to help you ride the wave by focusing on the here and now, not the what-ifs.
Beyond managing the physical side, there's the mental battle, challenging those thoughts.
Huge. Recognizing that those negative thoughts, I'm so awkward, everyone thinks I'm boring, they're usually just guesses, not facts. Especially for people prone to social anxiety, the sources say we tend to overestimate the bad stuff.
So how do you challenge them effectively?
First, pinpoint the specific thought. What exactly are you afraid of? Maybe write it down. Then interrogate it. Ask yourself, am I 100% sure this will happen? What's the actual evidence? Is it really that big a deal? If the worst happens, how would I cope? Is there another way to look at this? What would I tell a friend thinking this?
That process helps poke holes in those unrealistic beliefs, like needing to be perfect or liked by everyone.
Exactly. It reminds you that being awkward sometimes or feeling anxious, it's just human. It's okay.
And what about testing it out? Purposefully doing something small you fear.
Yeah, that's a powerful one. Like intentionally asking a slightly off-topic question or letting your hands shake a little if that's a fear and seeing what actually happens. Gathering real-world data, not just relying on anxious predictions.
Which leads nicely into the idea of facing fears through exposure, right?
Absolutely. The sources are really clear. Avoiding things you fear might feel better now, but it makes the fear stronger long-term. You never learn that it's manageable.
So it's about gradual steps, not jumping into the deep end.
Definitely gradual. Make a list of feared situations from easiest to hardest. Start small, repeat it until it feels less scary, then move up. You're retraining your brain.
And watching out for those subtle safety behaviors. The little things we do to feel safer, but that actually hold us back.
Yes, like always having your phone out or only talking to people you already know or rehearsing everything in your head. These things prevent you from actually learning that you can handle the situation without them.
Identifying your specific ones and trying to reduce them is key.
It really is. And a good tip here is to consciously shift your focus outward onto the other person or the conversation, rather than constantly monitoring yourself.
Throughout all this, though, knowing your limits is still important.
Absolutely. It's okay to need a break. It's okay to set a time limit beforehand. It's okay to leave early if you're feeling truly done. Honoring your energy is crucial.
It sounds like a lot of work, honestly. Building these skills takes practice.
It does. It's not a quick fix.
Huh.
Making these strategies habits is key for long-term progress. Consistency matters.
And setbacks are normal if you slip back into old patterns.
Totally normal, especially during stressful times. It doesn't mean failure. It just means going back to your tools and starting again. Be kind to yourself.
And maybe down the line, as confidence builds, expanding social circles could be a goal.
If that's what you want, yes. Things like clubs, classes, volunteering places with repeated contact can be good ways to build connections gradually.
Okay, so let's try and wrap up the key takeaways here. Understanding anxiety is step one. Preparation helps ease you in.
Then, having those in-the-moment tools, relaxation, grounding, super important.
And actively challenging those negative thoughts, questioning their reality.
Plus, the big one, gradually facing fears. Stepping into those situations while ditching the safety behaviors that keep you stuck.
And always knowing and respecting your own limits.
That really sums up the core strategies from the material we looked at. A solid toolkit.
So here's maybe a final thought to chew on. What if the goal isn't to completely eliminate social discomfort? Because maybe that's impossible or even undesirable.
Interesting. Go on.
What if it's more about building the resilience, the know-how, to navigate that discomfort when it shows up? Using these tools not just to survive, but maybe to find surprising moments of connection or presence, even within the discomfort.
I like that. Shifting the focus from eliminating fear to building confidence in your ability to handle it. That perspective shift itself could be really powerful. What might open up for you then?
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
We really hope these insights offer some practical support on your own journey.